So ma'am, in 24 hours a student is supposed to study 7 subjects. In 24 hours a student is supposed to complete 2 pending assignments which are due next week, but they have to be completed over time. In 24 hours a student is also supposed to spend time with their family. They are also supposed to get at least 6 hours of sleep, which I know we students don't get. And they are also supposed to work on themselves 1 hour for themselves. And then at the end we are also supposed to be doing internships. How can a student fit all of this into one single day with 24 hours without losing
The
out?
student cannot do it. I agree with you. But all days are not the same. Every day you don't have to give assignment.
Yes, ma'am.
Every day you don't have to go for internship. So whatever is expected from you, you can start right from the day one. तब तो आपका quantum of work is very less. It will only pile up when you don't do these routine things from the day one. And then it would be a deadline for an assignment. But if you are very much prepared, normally what I do in the class, I don't know about other teachers, about assignments, we give some 1 or 2 months back, the topic is given to the student. So the student has ample time to prepare. Otherwise, cut paste approach, which I don't think is time consuming. If I talk about this 24 hours, the question is time management. You will get time for everything if you manage your time well. When the deadline for assignment is there, there is no deadline for internship. When the internship is there, it is during the vacations that you have it. And when that is there, and there is certainly time for family. Family के लिए तो you have to divide your hours, how you have to spend.
So ma'am, we were talking कि 2 महीने पहले ही हमें syllabus introduce कर दिया जाता है, पढ़ा
नहीं,
दिया
I am
जाता है.
talking about assignment.
Yes ma'am, assignment.
So the student builds up the knowledge, the whatever he is or she is learning in the class. Slowly and slowly, they are building up their knowledge base, and on that basis, the assignments can be covered. It should not be. And you people are from a generation where AI is so handy. Every phone is having Chat GPT. I'm not saying use AI blindly, but with a responsible approach, with a very disciplined approach, it can be your buddy. Chat GPT can be your buddy, but don't depend on it blindly, because the kind of loops it gets into sometimes gives you a wrong answer also. So you have to be very careful where you land up ultimately.
Right. So ma'am, we are talking that we shouldn't be dependent just on one thing, right? So ma'am, is it right to say that a student should not only depend on a college degree, because no matter what college, no matter how high of a college you study from, in the end you will be asked for soft skills. But why is it that in these additional courses which we are being taught, a student takes those subjects which are easy, which are theoretical, and they don't have to give an exam? Why do they choose an easy way out, in your opinion? If a student has interest in AI, then why do they end up taking emotional intelligence just because it doesn't have such, practicals?
For this, I think the student has to be oriented. The kind of course they end up with should be connected to the job they are expecting in the near future after their graduation. If the approach is of a shortcut, not doing a major assignment or kind of project, then they will end up with the lesser options in the job also.
So, yes.
So if you work hard, see, it's always a balance. You work hard now, you will be relaxed, and if you don't work hard now, otherwise the things would be very difficult in the near future. So idea is to orient your mind, build up a mindset where the approach is to get a better employability in the near future. And the competition is cutthroat, you know it very well. And if you don't do it, you will be lagging behind. So consequences, as adults with having right to vote, you have first right to think about yourself also, that what you are doing will have its consequences later.
So, ma'am, we are talking that we should have a course which is aligned with our future job that we
Certainly,
want.
there should be certain dashboards where every course that you are doing, every paper that you are doing is to be aligned with the job market. or entrepreneurship. You can build up, you can have your startup, but for that also you need knowledge. Otherwise, people will make fool of you.
बट मैम ये डैशबोर्ड्स का जो हमारा आइडिया है, क्या ये सिर्फ इस कॉन्वर्सेशन तक ही सीमित है? बिकॉज द the administration is not seeing doing anything which we are talking about. They are not taking responsibility. They are not preparing.
I beg to differ from you. Administration is doing what you people cannot even imagine. Very recently, we had a thing called that was called semester away approach, where one semester a student will be taking up in a foreign university. So every kind of responsibility ultimately is of the administration, and the kind of courses that you people are studying now because of the vision of the administration only.
So the expenses will be covered by the administration. I
That
presume?
I'm not aware about the kind of nitty-gritties in this. That you will come to know later on only.
Okay.
I just heard about it.
Okay. Ma'am, we often see that in colleges, students fail to fulfill their attendance criteria. And we see that whenever students make mistakes, there are consequences. Attendance is cut, their grades drop a very big difference. But we see that when an institution makes a mistake, do consequences exist on that side as well?
See, if I talk about the responsibility of administration, it is very much there. Always administration. First of all, if you are talking about in terms of national education policy, then it is a dynamic interface that is happening, and with every coming time, the improvements are happening.
So, ma'am, let's talk about upcoming things. So, there is a season upcoming which we all are very familiar with, the election season. So, ma'am, according to you, what do you think that whenever politics enters a campus space, whenever students contest in politics, do you think that it is actually a way to energize in democracy, or is it just a distraction from studies?
See, it's not only about energizing the politics, it's about the leadership quality which the student develops. With these kind of interfaces where the student is contesting and putting his mind and manifesto amongst his peers, I think the learning is enormous. The leadership skills develop with this. And leave aside the politics, the leadership is very important in the coming times. You can be a leader not only, I mean, if you talk about politics, it's about entering into the different phases like Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, or even the corporations, etc. But what I feel is that a leader is there in the corporate worlds also. So there the leadership skills become important. Where you move, what I feel is that the team spirit develops. If you talk about the story about the hare and tortoise, then as all of us know, it was the tortoise that won. And then one thing what happened was that there were certain kind of barriers put, and in that race the hare won and the tortoise lost. But then there was a third chance also, where there were certain ways in which the tortoise was having a good role and the hare was having a good role. So whenever the barrier came, suppose there was a barrier, then the hare caught hold of the tortoise and they walked together, crossed that barrier, and that is how we reached the thing. So it is not only the kind of qualities of an individual that is important, it's the quality of the team that is important. And as a team, we should work, not as an individual. And that is what we learn during the elections.
So, ma'am, do you think that colleges today, do they actually encourage and they promote debates, or do they just reward safe opinions that they are in a good light?
There is a structured debate that can happen, and there is always a scope for opposition also. So very democratically, without crossing a certain barrier, ethical barrier, a space is provided by every college to the students to express.
Okay, and ma'am, in your opinion, if there's a student who has graduated with excellent marks, but they lack the most important thing, confidence, What would be your advice to a student who is on that stage right now?
See, when you come to the college, you are not only going to the classroom, you are going to the debating society, you are going to the union, you are going to the other kind of things. There are many societies, the NSS, the NCC. So, all these verticals, they give confidence to the student.
So if a
Where the
student,
student is not only a passive learner, he is a participant where they are learning.
so if a student is trying to build their confidence, and then the next day they go to a teacher that I was, here and there, I was building my confidence, then why is a common reply that it is your fault that you were there? And the teachers often deny to give them attendance for the class.
It's not this. There is a proper framework through which the attendance is given to the students for their activities also. There
Okay.
is a framework in the society. There are attendance rules through which the participation of the students in different societies is given weightage.
So, ma'am, you have been part of this university for over 30 years. So, you have seen the university going from here to here, of course. And the students are also evolving with time. Ma'am, students are building multi million careers on platforms like Instagram, YouTube, and they are even beating the students who had the highest grades in class. They are excelling in every way possible. Do you think the university is adapting with this change?
Change is a constant, and everybody is evolving.
Ma'am, content writing is a subject that students have in college. But then where is content creation, which is the most important one right now?
So I think the interface in which we are meeting is that only you're
Yes,
creating a
ma'am.
content. So you people are from the college and you're doing it.
So, ma'am, in
So
your
this is this kind of opportunity I think everybody has.
yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, do you think that students in the colleges they are being mostly prepared for real life uncertainty, or are they just being prepared for exams and formalities?
I think with the new reforms in the education sector, the classroom is not merely a classroom to transmit knowledge. It is to transmit every kind of opportunity that the student may have.
So,
So
ma'am,
yeah.
giving you a chance to go 30 years back in time, if you were a student today in Delhi University and you had the right to do two things, the first thing is to protest against something, and the second is to preserve something, what would be your choice?
My approach would be to have a midway. I have to register my protest, but there are certain ways through which I have to register. I don't have to misbehave with the system to do it. I can put my views and then see that what is there. But all kind of indiscipline that comes is highly condemnable and deplorable.
Ma'am, we like we talked about that we should not, we should not misbehave with the departments. So, ma'am, many students are seen that they are protesting something which is right in their views, but it is often seen that guards are sent to beat them. That they should just leave the university at all. That don't be seen on the campus. Who is the most responsible for that?
What you are saying may have happened. I don't know what you are relating to me, but the situation comes when they have been asked to leave the campus comes much, much
Later.
later. There is a space given to every student to talk, there is a space for dialogue, and we have to make maximum use of it.
So, ma'am, any experience that you have, a great experience where you actually realize how strong a teacher and student bond is, we would like to hear it.
One of my experience at Aditi Mahavidyalaya as the head of the institution, there we got, because that was a rural college.
Yes, ma'am.
And when I joined in 2015, there was a crisis for drinking water also. I mean, the things were very challenging. Over the years, of course, we built up the things and things were now very good. What I found was that there were certain students who wanted to study but had no money to study. And I still remember initially we helped not many students with that. And after that, they used to work in the industrial area. during the off hours and then used to come and study. So that kind of approach towards academics of a student is really appreciable.
I'm sure it would have been beautiful to see them.
Yes.
So,
And right now, that girl, she's doing very well. She has joined a media house and is doing very well.
beautiful. So, ma'am, we would not like to take much time, and I would just like to ask you one thing that we were just talking about your student experiences. Now, if a student is right now watching this and they feel lost in life, they have lost all hopes in the system, they have lost hope in themselves, what would your advice be to that student? Just clear advice, what would it be?
First of all, the student should have faith in oneself and then faith in the system. The system will always support you. Always support you. Go to your teachers, have a dialogue with them. They will guide you. And you're talking about the student who is studying right now.
Yes, ma'am.
And there are certain helplines also. We are there. The online counseling is there. Every college has a counselor
Yes, ma'am.
where the student can approach and anonymity is maintained. You don't have to give your names, etc., but still the help comes. The idea is to have faith in the system.
So, students, this is your advice coming from 30 years of experience. So, please take it. And yeah, that is all for today. Thank you so much, ma'am. We have had such a great conversation today. I'm sure a lot of people watching, they would learn a lot of new things from
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.